waters of Siltcoos Lake on the Oregon coast give up a 5-pound bass. The hand belongs to an expert fisherman that will make 6 casts and catch 6 bass. A cameraman and his guide take a close look at 1,000 itchy sea lions with a breathtaking ride in a dune buggy for extra thrills. This is our Florence story. Hi, Don Hobart, your cameraman host with another high and wild adventure. And this week, something a little different. We're going to the Oregon coast and the town of Florence. Now, Florence, Oregon is famous for its sand dunes. The dunes cover an extensive area that almost surrounds the city. On one side of the dunes, the Pacific Ocean roars against the long, smooth beaches. On the other side are freshwater lakes, and these lakes are teeming with fish. Top bass fishing is found in Siltcoos Lake, with rainbow trout, catfish, and silver salmon thrown in as extras. North of the city, the rocky cliffs and caves become the home of the sea lions. Now, these caves are the only known place on the entire Pacific coast that the sea lions come ashore to have their young. All right, let me introduce you to some of the most interesting country you'll ever see. The city of Florence on the Oregon coast has a population of 1,642 during the wintertime. In the summertime, it will double, triple, and quadruple. This is a family playground. Looking down on the highway bridge, Highway 101 crosses the Siuslaw River at this point. The city of Florence is almost completely surrounded by sand dunes, huge sand dunes. On one side of those sand dunes is the roaring Pacific. On the other side, freshwater lakes like this one. The lakes Tackanish, Wohink, Siltcoos. You're looking at Siltcoos Lake, probably one of the best bass fishing lakes on all of the Oregon coast. Roy Mccurdy is showing a prospective customer where to find a bass. He will mark on the lake on a map exactly where to find the best bass fishing. He's going to show us 3 different fishing holes. X marks the spot. It looks easy, doesn't it? All you have to do is go there and catch a bass. Well, not quite. Roy Mccurdy. He's probably one of the best bass fishermen I've ever seen. We head out across Siltcoos Lake. The day is a little dreary. It has a tendency to rain, and it does this occasionally on the Oregon coast. We're heading out directly across Siltcoos Lake to the first spot that he marked on the map. I must point out that he approaches this certain fishing spot in exactly the right direction. Look at the little whiskers on this weedless hook. This keeps it from getting hung up in the weeds on the bottom. Roy has fished this lake for years. He knows how to fish it and with what. A live water dog through the lip. This is probably one of the best bass fishing baits there is. Easy does it. Watch his gentle cast and his unique retrieve. You'll notice his fingers on the line. The line passes through between the thumb and forefinger. He has a touch that is amazing. That water dog is out there swimming through the weeds on the bottom, and suddenly he takes up the slack. A fighting bass. He reaches down and retrieves him by the lower lip. But he's a small one, as bass go in Siltcoos, and he releases him. Bass number one, bass number two coming up. Watch this. He takes up at least 16 feet of slack. He stretches way out over the water and takes it all in at once. There is a bass, about 5 pounds of big-mouth bass. Other fishermen move in. See that button there? It's called a panic button. You use it when you cast out. You take up the slack. Now that touch comes in. You push the panic button and let the bass go with the bait until he has it well into his mouth. Then you stretch way out over the water and take up the slack again. Bass number 3. He did this 6 consecutive times. Now, you think you have it? Watch this. The line is running through the thumb and forefinger. Now, believe me, this takes a touch. It's a delicate touch. The panic button. Let the bass run with it. He did it 6 times, and there's the proof. We're heading out across the lake to that second spot. Now, you can't beat bass fishing like this, even if you move all over the lake, it seems like. But don't fish out one fishing spot, always move. This is Roy's motto, and it's a good one. You're watching a professional line up. You have piling in that big fir tree, then you drop a double anchor. This is how it's done. We've just shown you one of Roy's special secrets in the bass fishing. Then after that, I'll ride in a dune buggy. Careful line-up, and here again, the panic button. This is what Roy Mccurdy calls it. The delicate touch, he can tell at the exact moment that that bass takes the bait. He lets him go with it for a short distance, then takes up that 19 feet of slack that he can get when he leans way out over the water, and then comes all the way back in slow motion. why they're called a big-mouth bass. And it's a pleasure to watch an expert fisherman go after them. Roy is probably one of the most expert. We turn and head back across the bay. We will be returning down to the outlet of Siltcoos Lake. We get a wave from another fisherman on the bridge as we pass underneath and make our landing. This is the outlet river. Up this river will come the silver salmon. They come across the beach through very shallow water, hit this stream, and go into Siltcoos Lake. Hallie and Roy Mccurdy look over his catch, and it's an excellent one. When the sun pops out on the Oregon coast, it's a place of glittering beauty. A couple of more fishermen come in. They've been out all night fishing for catfish. And look at the string of catfish they have. All of them fair size and excellent eating. We had to stop them before somebody really got hurt. Florence has a beautiful golf course, an excellent golf course. If you can hit a ball straight, it has. Now this gentleman plays golf much the same as I do. You set up, face the pin, and hook it. Buddy, you are now in one of the biggest sand traps in the world. You are now in 385 acres of sand trap. Now, if you're real careful, we'll get out of here in 498 strokes. Next, the unique sea lion. Now to the rugged cliffs of the Oregon coast. Just opposite the city of Florence, the long sand beaches lay 15 to 20 miles long. This is the mouth of the Siuslaw River. But about 25 to 30 miles north of the city of Florence is a very unique cave known as the Sea Lion Caves. This is the one spot on the whole Pacific coast that is known where the sea lions come into the shore to have their young. Down on this rocky beach, the giant sea lions move in and gather their harems, which will be from 6 to 20 females, or cows as they are called. There's only one way that you can get good pictures of them, and that's to climb down the cliff directly hanging over the Pacific, because this is where you will find the sea lions. On a sunny day, they move out of the giant cave where they have their pups and sun themselves on the rocky shore. And there's something about this salt water that makes everybody itch, mostly the sea lions. This is anything but a peaceable or quiet spot. The ring around that last one's neck was probably caused by a crab ring that he stuck his head in and then couldn't get it off, so it just finally rusted away. Notice how delicately they can scratch behind that right ear. They use those flippers like fingers. Say, that itch moved around a bit. This is probably the lousiest bunch of sea lions I've ever photographed. A sea lion pup weighs from 30 to 40 pounds at birth, and he must be taught to swim. He's afraid of the water, so his mother must take him down and show him what the ocean looks like. Here's one of them feeding. They will nurse from their mother from a year to a year and a half, sometimes more. He's switching buttons on the vest, so to speak. After a feed, there's nothing like a little nap, and they stretch out on these rough rocks and nap and scratch. A male bull will weigh from 1,200 to 2,000 pounds. The females go from 600 to 1,000 pounds. So as you can see, that itch moved right up there under that flipper. I just had to scratch this. Somebody's standing on that one's foot. When two big male sea lions get into it, things can get really rough. Some of them, how they can stand bouncing off of these rock walls, I don't know. But they will launch themselves out into the air and drop 40 feet into that cold Pacific. And this one doesn't seem to want to get into the water at all, and I don't blame him. It's very cold. They launch themselves out into the air, and 2,000 pounds of bull sea lion hitting the water is quite a sight. Some of them wait for that next wave. This is the way they get onto those rocks. They'll ride that tall wave in. But now it's time for us to move back up the rocks, back up the face of the cliff. And so the massive sea lions, there will be 1,000 of them here on these rocks at one time, and then they all move away. But this is the amazing Florence story. Yes, the Florence area is unique with its sand dunes and the sea lion caves. The Siltcoos River, famous for its steelhead, or the freshwater lakes, if you prefer bass, trout, or the lowly catfish. A real family playground. Until next week, this is Don Hobart wishing each of you good fishing, good hunting, and good luck.